Welcome to the Skoda Superb Drive, a special series on ET Now where we gain insights into some of the biggest corporate icons, find out what are the stories behind their success and their acumen in building international brands. As we take a ride with them in this beautiful Skoda Superb right here next to me. Our guest on the show today is indeed a very special one who's got a huge legacy with him. So join me as we join him on yet another journey. So today on the show, you're going to meet with somebody who hails from the auto industry. In fact, he's been one of the foremost veterans there, having led India's largest four-wheeler manufacturer from being a public sector enterprise to a market leader as a private sector entity. That's right, I'm talking about none other than Jagdish Khattar, the former CMD of Maruti Suzuki and currently in his first entrepreneurial venture as CMD of Carnation. So follow me and let's meet up with him.
Hi.
Hello, Mr. Khattar.
Good morning.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to have you.
So are you ready to go on the Superb Drive?
I'm ready.
Come, let's cross over. Let's talk a little bit more to Jagdish Khattar and find out how life is treating him these days, how business is these days. Mr. Khattar, good morning. You're looking nice, bright and all ready to face up to the challenges, and there's some big ones facing you right now. What's your mood like? What's your frame of mind like as we start off this journey?
No, I think it's the same every day. I mean, it's the fact is that we started this business, which you mentioned just now. It's a new business model for India because we have entered into a multi-brand sales network. Earlier it was supposed to be service network. Earlier it was supposed to be sales also, but that we put on the back burner. Far too capital intensive and the market is very difficult. But we prioritize second-hand cars. So coming back, we are doing a multi-brand service network with second-hand cars.
So as we stand today, since the business proposition for Carnation has sort of evolved continuously, how would you describe it?
Basically, it's an independent multi-brand service network today, providing customers most of the things that they require.
Right.
In the sense, we do service, we do accidents, we do accessories. We have got also a license, broking license for insurance. They can do insurance. We are also dealing with second-hand cars, which I personally feel is the future in India. Because growth of second-hand cars is likely to be much more than growth of new cars.
Because these are all a lot of new business propositions, relatively speaking. And as a customer, I'm used to, of course, going to my established dealer, especially when I buy a new car. And in the current market conditions, Mr. Khattar, would you say perhaps this is one of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Yes, a new business model. Every new business model has a challenge, and I knew when I was starting, but I was confident that this is a way forward. I was very lucky to have a team of 10-15 people who joined. They also felt that was the future. I always believe that if other people follow you, that means the business model is good.
And you find people are following you?
Yes, I think Mahindra First Choice is there. They started with second-hand cars. Now they're going into service. My TVS is there. That's a network they are setting up. Cars is another company in Hyderabad which they are coming. And I would really like many more to come.
So that's where the business stands today. And as we start off this drive and really talk about your success, when you start off a business, there's something known as the honeymoon phase. Especially in your case, everyone was very keen to find out what Jagdish Khattar is going to do next. And they were keen to forgive as well, or rather to understand and adjust to some of the newer business ideas. Now, a lot of questions have also come up about whether this model is going to work. How would you adjust your current business sort of proposition with the way the market is reacting to you?
So there are two things. Sometimes you respond to the market. Others is you create a market, or you sense that there is a need for this market, and you create that. The fact that we are only in 3 important segments, that is a service, in which 50% people are in any case leaving. So 80% of the car park, which are cars on the road, are only of 3 manufacturers: Maruti, Hyundai and Tata. Motors. The other 18 have only 20%, so their spread is not there. So that lacuna is there. Those customers are really looking for alternative where they can go, and that alternative should be as good as the dealer alternative in that sense. So we are able to meet that thing.
But I want to, we all want to find out more about you, about Jagdish Khattar. How did he accept and sort of change and respond to this change?
Well, I'm used
What's the biggest thing you have to unlearn? Let's put it this way.
First unlearn is that you're not sitting on 11th floor office in Connaught Place, and everything is there. You come down, you start in a small office, and people were surprised that my office was 5 by 7 or something. That's one. And second is really understanding how the thing works on the ground, and how do you even change the mindset of your own people leaving aside others, that this is a very different thing.
So as you stand and as we start off this journey, what's your mood like? Are you optimistic, cautiously optimistic? It's been a tough haul from 2008 onwards for this market.
No, I'm absolutely convinced about the business model that is accepted by everyone.
No more changes?
No more changes. It's, as we go along, it's a question of getting everything together, because this is a retail. There are a lot of challenges which came because if you're a dealer, people come to you immediately after purchasing a car. They are with you for 2 years. If you do a good job, you retain. In our case, we have to invite them for the first time. No one comes automatically.
So you have to really start from scratch.
Yeah, but it's something new that even the dealers are not used to. Because they are used to getting the customer, then it becomes a question of retention.
How much did brand Jagdish Khattar help you in that sense? Were they in awe of you initially and help for instance, your franchisees, or even the people whom you recruited?
I recruited, they came, and in fact it's very interesting. When we opened the first 2, 3, and when I went and met the technicians, we did our puja, I asked them, why have you joined our company? And technicians said 2 very interesting things. He says, number 1, we are coming from an individually owned outlet to a corporate. We will have chances of growth, because if you're working in a dealership, how much of growth can there be? But if you are in a chain, the growth is possible. And second, interestingly, they said, we are all used to doing one model, and here we will learn to deal with many models. So our skills will improve, our value will go up. I was very happy that they joined, but believe me, after a year, their value goes up so much that all luxury car chaps are taking them now.
Okay, that's great. That's proof of the pudding, so to speak. That the model.
It creates problems for us. We keep on training. So what I'm saying is, when you say what are the challenges, here you train them, they become multi-brand experts, and then now so many new manufacturers have come and they are expanding. They're looking for trained people. And
you are an easy picking ground. Just one question maybe I should have asked you at the beginning. Why Carnation? What is the name Carnation? It reminds me of the flower. It is
a flower. Interestingly, it's when I announced in October 07 that I'll be leaving in December, I got a call from Piyush Pandey on my mobile. He says, you're becoming an entrepreneur. I'm going to be your partner in advertising and marketing on his own. I said, look, I have no money. I'm going to start with nothing I have. He said, no. So, believe me, within 15 days of my leaving Maruti, he came to Bombay, had a brainstorming session, and first he insisted that whatever brand you take, your name has to be associated. You see, even Carnation is a Jagdish Khattar initiative. And then we went through this iteration of getting a name. And you had all sorts of names. So in America you have AutoNation, all others. So I think that the young people
Carnation,
Carnation is a flower, but it also means
carnation. Oh, right, okay. So Jagdish, this is the first part of our journey where we've spoken about how Carnation is blooming along. Thanks for walking us through that. But we've still got more questions for you, especially about how it all started from your days as a bureaucrat to Maruti, to to, of course, now where you stand. That's going to be our next part of the Skoda Superb Drive, right here with Jagdish Khattar, only on ET Now. Stay tuned for more insights. Jagdish Khattar, the man, the CEO, has had a journey which began much before this. This is just his latest venture. And let's talk a little bit now. Let's rewind into the past, so to speak. And rewind, most people would start with Maruti, but I'd like to go back much further and actually talk about how you almost ventured into Bollywood. Is that correct? Was that a career option for you?
Yeah, I think it was aberration. I was studying in Delhi Public and we were studying in 10th. So I went to school as usual and we had a principal titler, J.D. Titler. He came to classes, he picked 8-10 of us. We didn't know what it was. We went to Maiden's Hotel and there was an American. He was coming to India to make a movie on Gandhi's principles of non-violence, truth, etc.
So what was the part that you were offered?
That movie then was called Son of India and I was a son.
Do you remember a line, a dialogue? Should I say action?
No, I spent a year there, but my principal persuaded my father, who was reluctant. But he said, I won't lose my promotion. A teacher was sent along with me, so I worked and came back to school. Of course, I got offers from other movies, but my father said back to school.
So you almost took a turn into Bollywood and then took a turn into a law career. You were almost going to become a lawyer.
My father was keen that I should become either a lawyer or a journalist. And once having established oneself, join politics. Because that is what they were doing in Pakistan, my grandfather and all. So as a good son, I did my graduation from college and joined law. Now, you finish your examinations in March, April, the results comes in June, July. I had nothing to do, so I suggested to my father, instead of wasting time, why don't I appear in competitive examinations, civil services. So he said, okay, you appear for it. But anyway, I appeared for the examination, which was in September, October, and I qualified. So the law didn't, but it helped me in the examination because law were my papers in the examination. So I joined IAS.
Almost what, 2 decades in the IAS?
Nearly 3.
3 decades, nearly 3 decades. And when you entered Maruti, was it what happened? Was it along expected lines? Did you immediately try to go about changing the culture? What was your internal mandate?
When I joined, that is when the liberalization started. Licensing was opening. But Maruti, frankly speaking, was so dominant that among the dealerships and among the staff, they never thought anything will happen to them. So in my first meeting of the dealers conference, I requested Habib Rahman, who was ITC MD of hotels, to give a talk on customer satisfaction. And in that talk, all dealers were joining. My officers were also saying, what the hell was I doing? So after the meeting, I was told, the dealer said that what a person has come here. We should be producing more cars because there's a waiting list and there is premium in that.
So the notion of customer service was not at all there.
Not there.
And what was it like in the second half when it went public and when the Japanese, when Suzuki sort of took charge? What was the cultural shift like for you there?
See, I took over in '99. First of all, I had a labor problem, which was a major thing. If we had succumbed to them, Maruti would have been in trouble today. And then we started preparing for the competition. Of course, there was a problem between government and Suzuki that got over. Then we had to work very hard. But the difference was that I had already been in Maruti for 10 years. I was a government nominee, though Suzuki renominated me. So in a way, I was only a carryover of the previous.
How do you look back on the days with Maruti? Because the end, it seemed, or when you chose to leave, seemed a bit fractious.
No, not at all. I mean, it's, my contract was coming to an end, and I started thinking earlier that even if I get an extension, it will be for a year or two. Of course, if I had continued, I wouldn't have retired. But I really didn't want that part of it. I've been a member of golf courses even today, and paying for the last 20-25 years, but I have not been on a golf course even once.
So you wanted to take it easy. You were clear?
No, I was very clear that I'll remain active. I won't get retired, and I must do something useful and different. I couldn't have done manufacturing because Suzuki was there. So this is a concept which came to my mind. I had visited overseas. One could study the Indian market, and one knew that.
So you didn't want to go ahead and play golf on those memberships?
Till today I'm not doing it also. Okay. I just go for the evenings once in a while. So I thought there was a good opportunity of creating a new business model.
So when you look back at Maruti today, and considering that you built a large part of the success story that we are able to see in the recent past, what are your thoughts?
In what way?
If you look at the developments in recent light, the feeling is Maruti is losing its grip.
No, as far as Maruti's success is concerned, I think, let me be fair, that I was very lucky. I had a very good team. I had no background of automobile. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an MBA. But still I worked. It's only because others helped me in there. So all credit to them. Now you talked about slipping and Maruti. I think Maruti is stronger today than before. The reason being, Maruti may have lost 5% market share. But who has become stronger? The gap between number 1 and number 2 has widened. And Maruti still sells more car than number 2 and 3 combined, or 4 combined. Because a person buys a car once, but he retains and comes to the network for next 5-7 years. It is that experience which makes all the difference for him to buy again, or during those scores, people like you looking for fancy cars, if you ask your friends in Maruti what is your experience, they'll give you a good chit.
But any regrets at all?
No.
Any regrets about decisions that you've made?
I have changed so many jobs in IAS also. I forget the previous one and you concentrate on the new one. And unless you concentrate and enjoy, you can't last in that.
So what's your mantra in life right now? Is there one particular philosophy?
My father used to tell me that whatever you are doing, do your best and leave the rest. I think that's
Jagdish, we are here in this beautiful day right here in the National Capital Region. But the winds of change are also blowing in. They've blown into your life as well as you start off and are continuing to embark and build on your business at Carnation. It's been a tough haul, would you say?
No, it's, I mean, that's, these businesses don't we are not in the IT company and all. We are, within a year or so you start running, you're talking about brick and mortar, you're talking about skills, you're talking about acquisition, and you're talking about various businesses.
As you go into the future, and the question that you will be asked is, what is going to be Jagdish Khattar's eventual business model, which has been evolving? What are you going to stabilize on?
No, I think we're not going to add anything more than what we are doing. We have already got our COCO, company owned, company operated. That was necessary in order to prove the business model and how to go about, and we also to finalize our processes. Now major thrust would be on franchisee, because that's the best way of expanding across the country. And at the end of the day, we need local entrepreneurship.
Right.
I think it's in every city that you got. Every city is different.
And what's the biggest challenge that you foresee? Because as a CEO and as an MD, you have to constantly anticipate. What are you anticipating?
I think biggest challenge in any industry, as much here, is people. There is a shortage of skilled manpower in the auto industry, in various other industries. And in our case, it becomes far more because we need multi-skilled or multi-brand. So I think that is the most important part of it, to get them, to train them, and because there is a shortage,
to keep them,
retain them.
In fact,
and that is true everywhere.
So as we talk about the future, and you mentioned skills, and let's take a little turn towards your family. And what's interesting is, as you were sharing with me, you've also got your sons to join in and help you grow the business. So where do you see the future taking you there?
No, I think these two young men were in America. They were in the States. They did their MBA. They worked there. And they came back. But my company is much bigger than them. It's not that it's the family-run sort of a thing. It's a very professional company.
I mean, you're not thinking of a succession plan at this point in time where you take a break.
And what I'm saying is, it's when it's a professional company, there are other investors who are in this. I think they will decide as to who's the best person to take it forward.
And of course, when you talk about investors, and you've got numerous private equity funds with you, so any talk about going public, for instance? Do you think it's too early to talk about those days?
I think it's a little early, but certainly our plan is to go public, inshallah, as they say, in the next 3-4 years. That is the plan, and by then we should be able to build up scale, and we should be able to build up our businesses of second-hand cars, insurance, for which we have a broking license, etc.
How do you visualize the future, for instance, for yourself? 5 years from now, do you still see yourself as actively involved? Because you seem to have, would you say, planned most of the moves as far as your career is concerned, very clear in where you're going.
I'm not sure whether I have planned anything. I'm quite impulsive that way.
Okay.
Go much on the gut feeling. And I think till another couple of years, I should be fully involved in it, in the sense that I will be part of it. But I would like other young people to take over as much as possible, and I should play a little more mentoring role and a counseling role.
On the final word, Jagdish Khattar, you've seen this whole industry, you've seen the way the Indian economy has transformed itself, but we are at a point in time when there's a whole lot of gloom and doom, a lot of cynicism. You've yourself faced a lot of questions, is this going to work, not work? How would you sort of see the current situation? Because many seem to believe that India perhaps has lost the story, lost the plot. From your sectoral perspective as an entrepreneur, do you think it is a very challenging time?
This gloom comes every 5, 6, 7 years. So I always say that automobile is a marathon race. Any automobile, if you even want to change a light, it takes 18 months. You can't make overnight changes. It's not that you change the software. So you have to have a look at it, that in the long run, how are you going to do it? And the answer is, there is no way that in the medium and long term, this industry will grow. Because economy is growing. Even this year, the economy is growing at 5%. Next year will be better than that. So when the purchasing power, we are seeing it with the development of roads.
So the pace of growth might slow down, but things are still growing.
Oh, obviously it will grow. So but in a way, I also feel that once you have a dip like this, it makes you a little more less complacent. You start looking into various things which you have not looked into. You become thinner and meaner and more productive and efficient. So when the good times come, you take advantage of it. Again,
we started the journey with your frame of mind. At this point in time, your frame of mind as we look into the future, are you satisfied? What's your...
I have always said that we people have been very lucky in this country. We have got much more than we deserved in the context of what the country is like.
Right.
And we have had good opportunities to do. Gives you a sense of satisfaction. And whatever you are doing, as long as you enjoy and get satisfied, I think it's something to be nice.
So you are enjoying what you're doing and you're satisfied?
I'm very satisfied.
Okay, great. That's a great place to be in, which we all wish to be in. Jagdish Khattar, thank you for sharing so much of your life with us, sharing the day with us right here on the Skoda Superb, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
So that was the story of Jagdish Khattar right here on the Skoda Superb Drive, and we hope you've gained insight. We hope you've enjoyed the series as much as we have, meeting up with these icons and finding out a little bit more about their success stories and what goes on behind them. Till we meet again, it's goodbye from all of us here on ET Now.